You guys, I just was like, did I even finish putting the title in there? I might not have, but it is Twintuition Tuesdays. If you remembered, yay! Because I don't think I did anything to remind the timeline or anything like that today. But you guys, this is Twintuition Tuesdays. Marla and I decided to come together and talk about wellness every single Tuesday. That's how important it is to us. And to this week, the whole week I've been talking about healing as my topic for the week. Hey Pamela, as you're hopping on, do say hello, shoot us a wave. I can't always tell who's hopping on. Same thing if you guys are catching the replay, drop Twintuition Tuesday in the comments below. And if you are hopping on and you're new, just drop new below. Pamela just threw us a wave. Hey Pamela, thank you for the hearts. Appreciate it so much. I love you guys so much. Hey Sherry, thanks for the love. We will take all the hearts. All right, you guys. So Marla and I, this is Marla. Hello. I'm always like hogging the spotlight for Marla, you guys. Hey Nicole, what is going on? So we were just talking about the topic of healing before we hopped on. You guys know I have a little bit different definition for healing than a lot of people, the way other people talk about it. I talk about it as congruency, coming together, every area of your body. So body, mind, spirit, healing, coming in alignment, and being able to integrate all of you and show up fully in your life. Like that obviously is a big part to healing and also wellness. So they go hand in hand. So I think we're going to have a good chat today talking about how integrated the two are and how really it takes one for the other. Nicole says, hi. Or no, that's Sherry. Sherry says, hi, Marlon Carla. Hey, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry.
Hey, Nicole. What's up? What's up? Awesome. Good to have you guys on. So Marla is going to start us off with a quote. If you're new to this series, I just want to remind you that about 12 years ago, Marla had a change in mental status. And when that happened, I had a huge epiphany as I was just learning about it myself, that I had a huge epiphany that I didn't know anything about mental illness, and I had absolutely no idea about mental wellness either. And as I looked around, I realized that it was basically absent in our population. I really didn't see any examples of mental wellness. I saw a lot of people that were constantly worried, stressed, full of anxiety, depression, overthinking, low self-esteem. So that is just something that was so common, and some of the symptoms Marla had in the very beginning, I would have recognized, but they actually seemed so very normal. I didn't realize anything was really going on because it was so normal, some of the stuff that was happening. So we came together to talk more about wellness. Tonight, Marla's going to kick us off with a quote as regards to healing. And I think it's a good one. I think it's really indicative, too, of what I said.
Okay, the quote is, you've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. That is Louise Hay.
Yeah, Louise Hay. I like it. Can you read it one more time, just for clarity?
You've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. Louise Hay.
I like it. So try approving of yourself. What would happen if you were approving of yourself? There's a thought. Ooh, I love that quote, Sherry. Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I love it too, you guys. I feel like it's so, it feels like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I realized 12 years ago as I was looking around for mental wellness and I couldn't find it anywhere, you guys. It is not a normal thing. So that's why we're talking about it, to bring more awareness. So like I said, Marla and I were talking a little bit earlier about healing and mental wellness. Nicole says game changer. One word, I like it. New word, game changer. So Marla, what do you feel like, what do you think healing means to you? I just was talking about what it means to me. When you think about healing, what do you feel like it means to you? And then especially on your journey.
It means addressing things that are harmful or hurtful and overcoming those things, or having those things get better and not hurt anymore.
I like that. So what do you feel like something for you was maybe something that was painful or that hurt you.
The psychotic episodes were very bad for me, and I feel like I've healed from those now. I don't have those anymore like I used to.
Yeah, that's so true. It's good. It's so, like, there were times, you guys, when I never thought that was possible because it just didn't seem like, it seemed like it always was something that I would be worried about. Hey, Danielle. It didn't seem like it was possible that she could be 100%, better again, that we would be able to be friends again and talk again and stuff like that. I always hoped for it, but there were sometimes, obviously, it seemed like it was just too far off, like it was impossible, so I love that you're saying that. And then what about wellness as it relates to like how you think of wellness? Like how would you contrast healing and then wellness?
Well, I don't know about contrast, but healing I think is a way to get to wellness.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like when people do high fives with the same. She gave me a high five with her right hand. It just doesn't fit, Has to be the other. Better. All right, so when it comes to healing, you guys, it really is something that everybody, I feel like it's something that we're always doing. Even if we've never had a psychotic episode, I feel like it's something that we're always doing because we learn so early on to close off certain areas of our lives. Like, I remember when I first started working in a corporate wellness center where, like, you guys, I would do free personal training. This was like 5 years ago. I worked in the building and I would see so many people walk right by that, were like limping and just overweight and stuff like that. And they wouldn't come into the free employee wellness center. And they would say stuff like, well, exercise just isn't for me. Or, I just don't see myself getting into that. And I just always thought, like, why did you make that decision? Like, movement is such a natural thing. And I think it's just another one of those things. We just close off these entire areas of ourselves based on how we think of ourselves or maybe something that's happened in the past. And it literally is like, that's an area of ourselves that is asleep, that is dormant. And as we know, when it comes to health and wellness, if you don't use it, then you lose it. So if we don't move our bodies, then we lose the ability to use our bodies. If we don't express a part of ourselves, eventually it just dies off. Our body is so smart that if we're not using something, it cuts off the energy towards that area so that it can focus in other areas of our bodies, our minds, and our lives. So, to not utilize some area of your potential is to basically amputate it from your life. It's to close off from it, to take the energy away from it. And we need all of who we are. And so I always found that so interesting that, some people would close off. I'm going to read a couple comments and then we can hop back in. Nicole says, not believing the words or lies that was spoke over us. Yeah, sometimes you probably said that in relation to something we were saying. So I don't know.
Wellness or
healing. Wellness. Yeah, that's definitely something that can be huge for sure. Wellness, making healthy choices for ourselves. Yeah, healthy choices for sure. And then healthy can be something that's like, I think, a little subjective. So I always say like choosing, healthy is one way to say it. And I always say choosing in the direction of our best interest, our highest expression, because that almost always is going to be, quote, super healthy. Marla, do you want to share anything about your journey where you feel like you healed something that maybe just you didn't see was there until after you healed, or maybe like opened your eyes to something or an area that you feel like is healed now that wasn't healed before? You said a little bit about it earlier. I just want you to talk about it more.
Okay, I don't know what you mean about see something now. I see something now that
Well, usually like while you're in whatever's going on, like your psychotic episode, you can't see that what's happening until afterwards. Like you said, looking back, you're like, hey.
Yeah, I don't have the psychotic episodes anymore, not like I used to. There's different things happening where I've been in the hospital still, and I don't really agree with the hospitalizations, but where I'm walking outside, without clothes on, or running in front of, cars or traffic, I was doing that. that doesn't happen to me anymore, where I do that anymore. And so I think that I've healed from doing that. And it's just by knowing more about what's going on with me is what is my healing, or the thing that's made it so I don't have those episodes anymore. I know better what's going on.
Why do you think you couldn't heal, like, why do you feel like it's now versus, maybe 5 years ago or 6 years ago? Or, because why do you feel like it's, to me, in my eyes, it feels like it's taken so long?
It's somewhat of the just repetitively going through the same thing over and over again. It starts to occur to you that, something, you're more aware of what's happening. And, in the episodes, I was doing things I didn't want to do, and I decided at a point I didn't want to do what I didn't want to do anymore. And even after I decided that, I still had episodes where I was doing things I didn't want to do. But finally, I guess you could say, put your foot down, or finally you are able to make the decision to not do it anymore.
I love it. Yeah, that's really cool. So I feel like at some point I can remember when you first said that to me, and I think it was kind of early on, but then it still happened. Do you feel like you had that realization, but then you still feel like you couldn't control it? Or do you feel like it was a certain point where you knew it and it never happened again?
Just being strong in your conviction that I don't want to do something that I don't want to do. I think that's what does it. And other things too, like knowing what's happening, what's going on, and not acting on it in a way that you're unconscious. I think that I have more consciousness, more awakening to what's happening now. More consciousness and I'm more awake. I know more about what's happening.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. So you guys, I actually remember when she first told me that, and it was before, it was a while ago. It was maybe after the first couple of times, but still after that, it still happened again. So that's why I asked her that. So when it comes to healing though, I feel like I said, I feel like we all have it. And one of the other reasons why I asked her that is because it's an ongoing process. Like you can't see every area where you need to heal. I think you just kind of do it as it comes along, as you have triggers pop up in your life, as things pop up and you can tell that you have a weakness, or you feel ashamed, or you feel hurt, or you feel triggered, or you've done something that you didn't want to do. Only can we look at it and then be honest with ourselves, and then do the work to heal it. And even having the awareness is just so powerful. It's so powerful, and it's so easy to go on with your life and not be aware, and not, do what it takes to show up as a whole, fully functioning, empowered human being. So I think I told you guys before, a while ago, the definition for empowerment is being able to get out of your own way. And I can kind of see that too, just what Marla shared. So I find that really powerful. I'm going to read a comment from Nicole. It's a long one. Let me see. Nicole says, I don't believe in the hospitalization either. It didn't help your brother. Okay, yeah. I went through the process with my friend from the ER till they checked her in the mental illness ward. Broke my heart. Yeah, it is really, it's hard to watch and hard to see that stuff as it's taking place. Then they just released her with zero support and follow-up. Yeah, I know. Thank you for speaking on that, because sometimes it's like, since it's been a while since Marla's been in the hospital, I think, like the last time, it's been kind of spaced out, and it's been a while since I felt like emotionally affected by that. But you're absolutely right. It is really like gut-wrenching to see someone you love kind of have to go through that. The way they treated her in the ER was horrible. Absolutely, yep. I kept quiet so they wouldn't ask me to leave. So hard, we cried together. Yeah, that is really hard. That was something, it's hard too, because I think I didn't mean to scroll all the way down the comments. I didn't really. It's hard too, because it's like, you want the person to get better. You want to have your relationship with them. You want for them to overcome what's going on. But at the same time, and it doesn't seem like there's any other option than that. So I totally get what you're saying with that. 100%, I get that. And I think, to be honest with you, it's like, when it's something with the mind, it's so hard to be able to rationalize or reason with the person. And so I know with Marla, a lot of times when it came to the point of her going to the hospital, it was usually like, I felt torn like you, but at the same time, it seemed like it was the only option in order for her to be able to get better and be able to progress to the next step. It didn't seem like there was any other options. So
yeah, I don't feel like being in the hospital really helped me. I guess it's something where you realize that something really bad has happened, and so it's a response to that. But I don't really feel like that really helped me.
I feel like I can see where you would think that, but I just thinking in retrospect, there were some times when it didn't seem like there was any way to get control back. You know what I mean? Or even like without, or it seemed like there wasn't, like if you were outside, you know, and your feet were frostbite. It just seemed like a bunch of times when it didn't seem like there was any other option.
Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah.
But I don't want to argue about it or anything. I'm just saying that's like a little bit of a perspective to think about. I think it's hard too, because you can't, like I said, you can't reason or have that conversation. It just doesn't seem like there's other options available. But you guys, so I just wanted to be able to hop on and talk about the healing thing with Marla, because I felt like she had an interesting perspective too, based on what she's been through. And when we are faced with being able to heal ourselves, it usually is very similar to kind of what she described. It's like we come up against things in a repetitive way, and then as we notice that there is a pattern, then we can kind of do something about it. But even that takes a certain level of self-awareness and introspection, and just the ability to look back at some of the things that have happened with an objective eye, which is really hard, because as we know, when it comes to health, when it comes to what's going on in our lives, it's primarily very much so us being the subject. And so we can't see it until we kind of make the subject an object, or be able to look at it a little bit from a higher perspective outside of what's going on. So is there anything else you want to say, Marla? I feel like we're kind of like...
Well, recently a doctor said the reason why I don't have the same kinds of episodes anymore is because for over a period of time, and I don't agree with that. I don't think that's really where healing lies, is in the medicine.
I agree with that.
I think that, or in hospitalization, I don't feel like healing really lies in hospitalization either. But I think that it lies in wanting to have things be okay, and wanting to heal yourself, wanting to get to the bottom of what's happening. I feel like those things are things that help with healing and getting out from a situation where things are bad.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't think the hospitalization really does anything. It's the point where you realize something bad happened, but you can realize that without the hospitalization. I think it probably does make it so that you don't want to do certain things, because it will result in you being hospitalized. So I can't be too upset about the hospitalization if, you know, I was, well, actually, no, I won't say that. I'll just say that I don't agree with it. So I'll just say that. I'll leave it at that.
I can kind of see that. I feel like at some point you might see it differently. Just, I know that it seems horrible, but I think a lot of times it just seemed like there wasn't any other option. So, I mean, I can leave it at that too, because I don't think it makes a huge difference either way at this point. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's definitely a very interesting dynamic between the person that's like the family member and then the person that's actually going through it. That's another dynamic that I feel like is so interesting, and that's another reason why I do want to be able to talk about it together, and then on this platform, because I think the other thing, one of the main things that I felt while I was going through it was that she didn't know where I was coming from, or like she might not have thought about like me and my mom and how we were feeling, and to some extent I couldn't fully see from her perspective either. But I know a lot of other families and other people kind of go through that, and it's hard because nobody else will understand at all. So it was a tough thing where I couldn't necessarily talk to her, but she was probably the only one that would really kind of be able to understand, or my mom, or, you know, like our family. So yeah, that's kind of it is challenging too when it comes to the hospital and stuff like that, or being hospitalized for her. So you guys, we are going to start to wrap up today. Thank you, Hatim. Hatim says, I hope you will visit North Africa. I don't know about that, but Sherry says, it's beautiful that you are reconnecting now and sharing your story together. Thank you, Sherry. I always wanted to be able to have a platform and just to share with Marla and talk about it, because I just feel like it just was so, there were so many times when it felt hopeless. There were so many times when it felt like this, almost felt like it was unreal because it was that bad, you know, and I didn't know what was going to happen. So I always wanted to be able to talk about it. And there's still a lot that we're still working on, like the book, and there's still a lot that we're working on with healing, both of us, but, you know, really like wanting to do some things that could really change how people see mental illness and how people see mental wellness. So we have some really big goals and mission that we're on, and so this is just a way too for us to come together and be able to flesh some things out and talk openly about it. So we love that you guys are coming on and engage with us, because it definitely gives us too some different ideas to chat with, to you know, kind of throw around. Thank you. Hatim says he loves our style of colors. Thanks. We do actually put a little thought into the colors and in the presentation with that, so thank you. I know it was so challenging for family members. I'm sure you felt powerless. Yeah, super true, very true. All right, you guys, so we're gonna wrap up, and in wrapping up, I just want to say that there's a lot that happens within the family dynamic that presents an opportunity to heal. And there are so many things, like I said, that I didn't realize until I started to notice the patterns that Marla was experiencing. And not just the ones that we've talked about with her going outside naked and how symbolic that was in a lot of ways in my eyes, but also because Marla and I are a lot alike in our personality type, and that we are really free spirits. I think we're naturally very powerful in terms of just the way we see the world was always kind of just like, you know, a little bit different than, you know, like a lot of people in our family and stuff. And so I found a lot of comfort in having her as my, like, my family best friend, you know, like she was always kind of my best friend. And so, and having that, it definitely presents little things make a really big impact in your life. And I want you to kind of think about that. Little things make a huge impact in your life, and there are so many little things that you might not be aware of until something happens. Like, I didn't realize how much support system I had in having a twin sister until she was not really there for me in that way. There was a lot I realized when she was not there for me in that way that I never would have realized if that hadn't happened. And I know she might not even fully be in that spot of seeing that, but there was a lot that I noticed about myself when I didn't have that. I did feel kind of alone in some ways. And then in other ways, I just felt like I felt like it was really a gift that I had a twin sister. Not just because I had a support system, but because I was able to see the world differently. Do you get that? That however your family dynamic is, whether you are the outcast, whether you fit right in, or whether you see things that other people don't see, how you grow up in your family dynamic is an opportunity. It shapes the way you see things, and it's really cool, you know? Yeah, I can't. I'm not like reading all the comments, but we're closing up, and I wanted to say that real quick because I just kind of feel like healing is something that we all do, and some of us have the task of healing things in our family that maybe just are something that is just allowing more to be expressed through, like, you know, sometimes it's just allowing more to be expressed. That's really the point of life, is to express. That's why it's so huge to heal. So I'm going to read some of the comments, and then Marlo, do you have anything you want to say in closing?
In closing, healing can be something where you are maybe having a chance of something happening where things aren't okay again, because I had to believe in myself at a point to be able to figure out more what was happening with me. And so it can be something where you are close to, you know, maybe things seeming like they can be bad, but that wasn't really what happened. Was something bad for me believing in myself. Well, actually, some things did happen, but I feel like it helps to believe in yourself, and because I had to believe in some of the things that I wanted. You know, I wanted to, you know, not do things that I didn't want to do, and things like that.
Yeah, that's good. All right, you guys, we are closing up for tonight. I am back on tomorrow. Marlon, my alarm, you guys, I have like a little reminder on my phone. But yeah, we're wrapping up for tonight. We'll be back on next Tuesday for Twintuition Tuesday. And I'll be back on tomorrow for 365 Live. All right, you guys, I will see you next time.
Bye.